starts with this, a person that you miss. Mine draws a blank. I wanna go back to the early days when life was an escape. Now I just wait for better days. I lost myself in your reality. Lost myself. I lost myself in your reality. Lost myself. I feel that life, according to a friend, we're all shrink wrapped in families and making ends meet, stuck in jobs we'll never leave. I never wanna be like that, so I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. Didn't mean to sound so concerning. Am I alone in the hurt? I never followed anyone. It's so absurd. I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. It's gonna go back. Gotta go back. Gotta go
I'm a creature with no skeleton inside your hands. Got no home address, I come and go as you command. And it's fine with me, and it's fine. I'm a bandit that you use to keep from bleeding out. I'm the lover you don't love, but love to keep around. And it's fine with me, promise that it's fine. Maybe I'm a fool, it's not
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last day of the South American Closed Qualifiers. My name is DK Truman. I'm joined by the wonderful Bowie, and this is also coincidentally our last cast of these qualifiers together. So let's make it an absolute beautiful one, and it is definitely looking like that's going to happen with these two upcoming teams.
Oh yeah, it will. I'm tired of 2-0s. The beginning here of this tournament was a complete massacre, and just looking at the teams, I had an expectation of closer games, but it does feel like we have teams that are slightly better than the others, and those teams are Heroic, Boom Esports, and Star Backs. They're looking very sharp. They're looking good. I actually expected a bit more from Infinity, to be honest. In my ranking, I think they were slightly better, but they did get 2-1 by Estar Backs. And finally, this is it. This is the one match you cannot lose if you have a dream, if you want to qualify, because Heroic, they are waiting and standing proud. Like, they barely bled us games, right? I think they only lost one game to Boone. Besides that, 2-0s all along the way.
Yeah, it's been kind of a wild ride. Couple of teams that got eliminated very early that I didn't expect. Infinity made a pretty hefty run in the lower bracket, of course. Starbacks, they dropped in that first round as well, but they made it all the way to the lower bracket finals. Very impressive resilience, especially after that 2-0 loss that they had against Beast Coast. But they're up against Boom Esports. The only team that they lost to is Heroic, and well, that's not too surprising. Well, I mean, they can, of course, beat Heroic, but both these teams are absolutely massive and hard to deal with. And the Starbacks, I think that first day might have just been a bit of a fluke for them, where Beast Coast 2-0'd them, because they are looking prime and ready at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that 2-1 kind of gave me hope for Beast Coast, right? That's a brand that we associate with SA till this day. They did get a team of, let's say, newcomers or maybe fresher talent. And I was like, all right, damn, they 2-0 Starbacks. Maybe they're going to go all the way. But then they just lost 2-0 twice and they never got to play. I was a bit saddened by that because I do really like the org. But yeah, they are out. And it's going to be Boom versus Starbacks. And, I gotta say, even though I think Boom Esports are supposed to be the favorites, right? They have Panda, they have Pakaz. It is hard not to look at Starbacks and kind of feel like they have the talent. Dark Mago, Minos, they also have like really big names on their side. I feel like Boom Esports might have a little bit more resources. They have a coach that has been by far one of the best in South America. I am not sure how Starbacks is in that regard. They don't even have a Wikipedia page. So I do expect Boom Esports to have an edge, but I'm honestly not sure if it's that big.
It's very close. I think a couple of things that, of course, are on Boom Esports' side. They have incredibly experienced supports. That I think some of the most experienced supports, as you mentioned, Panda, but also Knight. We saw him with that Grimstroke doing magic in a previous series. I do think that the Starbacks have probably one of the best mid laners in the South America region. I think Dark Mago is just a menace to deal with. It's not only the fact that the guy is really freaking good, it's the fact that his hero pool is not predictable at all. He can just pull out the Underlord mid all of a sudden, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? I haven't practiced against this. I don't know how to play against this. And that is exactly what the Starbacks have behind them. A mad mid laner.
Yeah, he's definitely, he in the past was used to being this one-trick pony, could only play Kanka Tiny, Ember. But I do feel like he grew a lot. And, looking at the games that he played here, he had a fair amount of diversity. Had some Pango, had Storm, Primal, Leshrac. So I do feel like he has been, practicing a fair amount of heroes. I would even say that I kind of consider him to be stronger than Zlatims. I know that he grew a lot. Zlatims wasn't really that known past 2 years ago. He played for those tier 2 teams and eventually got picked up by some big orgs. he even had a little bit of a kerfuffle with Boom, right? I think he got like soft kicked and then was was put back in the team because they couldn't find another mid laner, and that's the problem, right? Besides Dark Mago, Chris Luck, South America is not known that much for their mid laners. There's Analog, and he is playing for Heroic. But I would say that even 1 year ago, besides myself and other like close friends of his, he was not really considered to be by a lot of people one of the best in South America. I do feel like he, kind of can say that he's that player now. Did get 12K just recently, but mid is probably the weakest role, I would say, in South America.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, I think they have been definitely improving, but it's just the other regions have insane mid laners. Like obviously, Western EU and China. I mean, China, now that all those older mid laners have returned, is looking fabulous again. But I think, for instance, for South America, their strength has always been their safe laners. I think their safe laners are normally the scariest of the group. I mean, everyone remembers that K1 dominance at one point. Currently, of course, he is back being the K1 dominance. But where even Arteezy said, when he played like an Abaddon safe lane, I don't know how K1 farms like this. And that just exactly shows you how much respect everyone has for that region. I mean, obviously Parker, because is another one of those names that's just like a top tier, could go toe to toe with safe laners in any region. So yeah, it's a region that, of course, is still growing. I think as you mentioned, the mid laners tend to be considered the slightly weaker positions that they have in South America. But I don't think that these two are weak at all. Slatum has impressed me as well in the matches that we managed to cover of his. Without a shadow of a doubt, I am happy that they pulled him back. Of course, you were talking about the incident. Well, They created the Boom team, then they tried to qualify for a tournament, and then they failed, and then they kicked the entire roster. That was a very... Well, not the entire.
I mean, that was pretty much the Heroic roster, right? Was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't that? Like, I think it was minus Analog. It was pretty much the Heroic roster.
It was Sacred, Matthew, and MJZ.
Oh.
And Slatum.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, it was a mix. And of course,
I guess they had Cafurtado as coach, and Cafurtado is Heroic's coach now. So I think he was the one that ended up going for Heroic. But yeah, you're right. It was not exactly the Heroic roster.
Yeah, but of course we do have Matthew Nope, who I considered one of the best position 4 players of the region, actually playing in the MENA region for Nigma Galaxy.
Oh yeah, and look at that, we have a draft here in our hands. And I was looking here at the most picked heroes on both sides, the heroes they contest the most, and boom, they are pretty much an anti-Timbersaw team. They ban it every single game with no exception. Whereas Starbucks, they are actually willing to let it through. Like, they don't ban it every single time. They are willing to play it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Another thing is Crystal Maiden is going to be a huge contest here. Obviously, we know how popular the hero is. Despite the nerfs, the hero is still being picked a lot. And then after that, I think the biggest one for me is probably the Grimstroke we were talking about. Both teams actually love playing it. Boom Esports has 100% win rate with it in this tournament. And Starbucks, they're not that far behind, to be honest. They have 80%, 5 games, only lost 1.
Okay, those are pretty interesting stats. I think, yeah, Grimstroke is a really strong hero if you combo it well. It is a very heavy communication hero. I think that's why a lot of teams don't like to play it as much. As you might see, there are some issues. Currently, someone's PC crashed. So that's why the draft is being delayed as we speak. And we're going back to our wonderful faces. Well, my bald, shiny face, and of course, the wonderful face of Bowie. But yeah.
Question. Should I disconnect and go back to the lobby, or Or is it just
The rest of
paused?
no, they're all. It's just paused. Everyone else is still in the
Okay.
lobby.
Okay.
So
All right.
hopefully that can get resolved momentarily. No time has been really taken off just yet for the banning phase on reserve time, so it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, I am looking forward to seeing what they can bring. We have not. I think we haven't. No, we didn't cover a Starbacks game because we did
No.
the Infinity versus Akatsuki match. So I'm pretty happy that we get to see a team that we haven't seen. Bit sad, of course, that Midas Club got smacked down so hard. Both games 2-0 against Heroic, and then beaten by a Starbacks 2-0. That one was very sad for me.
Yeah, I was watching the heroic one and it went all the way, right? 77 minutes. That one was pretty hype. Actually couldn't get to watch Starbucks, but just looking here at the time, it was over pretty fast, right? 30 minutes, 30 minutes. There was even a meeple here from FCR. That's cool. But yeah, unfortunate that they don't go through. I feel like they have the I feel like they have honestly pretty good players. They could actually get all the way to grand finals. But they're a relatively new team, and SA, it's so weird. Like it feels like everyone is at the same level in a way. Like on average, I would like if we take NA and SA for instance. I feel like NA has two teams that are 9.5s, and I think SA and like the other ones are like 5s maybe. It feels like in SA everyone is a 7.5 or an 8, and it feels like it's much closer. But then when you get to play internationally, they all kind of get destroyed. Heroic is probably the only one that looks the best right now. And I'm curious, I kind of feel like Heroic's just going to take it 3-0, but I would love to see a team really force them all the way.
Yeah,
Go.
we are going back in towards the draft right now, so hopefully we get everything sorted and no more issues will come through. But yeah, obviously looking forward to seeing SA resurgence coming in. SA struggling. I think Southeast Asia has been looking a little bit better. Aurora has kind of re-emerged from where they were standing. They were struggling in the beginning. And Southeast Asia was not like who's gonna be the top tier team in that region. Well, Aurora is definitely with head and shoulders above the rest. In Eastern Europe, that region is the very interesting one because VP and even the new Navi qualified. The new Navi, the Uragi Navi.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean that's crazy, right? Because Uragi Navi qualifies, OG doesn't make it. People are up in arms and everything. So it's pretty. We are living pretty crazy times, but I honestly like it a lot, right? I think we had this discussion about DPC versus the new format, and one thing that DPC didn't allow for was all of these lands with different teams qualifying throughout, whereas in the past, you would pretty much see all of the same teams with like one or two exceptions when someone actually gets lucky. Whereas I'm happy for this Navi. I feel like I am a big Uragi fan, and just seeing that name, like they've been investing in this game for so long whilst not qualifying for tournaments. Like you gotta admire how much they love this game, because I'm pretty sure financially, like with the results they were having, it was just not worth it.
What I find the most interesting of all is the fact that they have on that Navi roster taken a chance, a leap of faith, by picking up themselves a Mongolian mid laner, something that you don't see too often jump over. I think we did see 423 play in some stack a couple of very small tournaments, but going for that Southeast Asian mid laner, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do and how he can improve, because it isn't always nice to see swapping of regions coming through. But nonetheless, we are now back to South America. First couple of heroes have been picked. We get the Grimstroke coming up for Estar and the Rubik for Boom Esports. So another Grimstroke pick. Is Grimstroke being picked in the other regions as much, or is that just a South American thing?
Not as much. It's definitely being picked, more than it was. But I do feel like South America just fell in love with it, and it makes sense. We are seeing a lot of primal beasts. We're seeing a lot of gap closing offlaners with Magnus being popular, Centaur being popular, and I think Grimstroke just makes it easy. I think that Grimstroke is probably one of the most complete supports that are, right? You have silence, you have slow, you have stun, you have dispel. Sure, the dispel is bound to a shard, and you also have illusion counter with the eggs. It feels like strategically this hero can bring so much. It didn't get any buffs. It's just, I don't know, people, Dota is cyclical, and sometimes people, some supports get nerfed, and something that was just a little bit dusty, people are like, oh, this hero still exists, and they just find a lot of success with it, as the Tiny here being removed from Boom. All right, so what are we looking at? Lots of supports being banned, honestly, on the side of Starbucks, whereas Boom for pretty much banning offlaners with the Kunkka, DK, Mars. I guess Tiny, you could even say, is an offlaner.
Yeah, but Tiny's, I think both Michel and Dark Mago play it a lot, so it's a good flex for Starbacks. And yeah, the Mars, DK, Kunkka bans all make sense. They're targeting both Sacred and Dark Mago primarily.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely a worthwhile attempt. Ember Spirit, that
By
is
the way,
a surprising early pick.
Knight play support Ember Spirit. So, I'm not even sure if watch out for the support Ember Spirit is something that we should be saying, but he does play it. Like, they did flex it in a couple of games that I cast from them in the past. I'm going to check when was his last Ember support game, because... So, Heroes, Ember Spirit. Hopefully, I'm not mixing up players here, but I do feel like I've seen him play. And he played... Oh, never mind. I just made that one up. So, yeah, it's just going to be a mid-Ember, probably, for Bottoms.
Well, that, we'll just ignore everything he just said for a little bit. Well, that they do combo one of the most diverse safe supports with probably the most diverse support. He even has an extra spell to get more done. Dark Willow, Root, Fear, Stun, untargetable ability, damage to kill any core at any time. It's a magical hero.
Yeah, pretty strong. I feel like both heroes are not seeing that much play. And in the past, when we used to see Dark Willow, it was usually combined with heroes that are banned right now. I think Bars is one of them. Mag is one of them. Just having... Oh, we kind of talked about Starbucks not banning the Timber. And there we go. Somehow they get it here. Huh.
That is pretty scary. Obviously, you could even mow down a Ember Spirit pretty easily with the Timber Saw. Ember doesn't have that much reliable damage. Magic damage pretty okay. Plus side is Ember tends to still build Mage Slayer, which is a hard counter for Timber Saw. And is a must-have for Timber Saw because it does flat 40% spell damage reduction, if I'm not mistaken. And Timber Saw spells are all pure, so reducing that any way you can is a godsend for your team.
Out of all the cares that are available, I feel like I have to go Morphling here. Okay. That is a classic counter. I feel like right now, it's not even that much of a counter because Timbers probably only get 1 point in the passive for the most part. But it's not bad per se. It's overall burst magic damage, which counters Timber. I feel like this hero, if you lose your lane, which right now, the only carry I think they can pick is Morphling, if it's just food for the Timber. Like, you have no stun, no silence, that slow barely matters against the Timber. So I feel like you need to pick a really strong lane, and Morphling is not the strong lane that pairs with Ancient Apparition. Usually, it's like, yeah, your Gyros, Wraith Kings, Svens, just having a stun that you can combine with Ancient Apparition's Q. I like it. I think this is fine. But it does force the Gyro into lots of Rocket Barrage points, which does slow down his farming speed throughout the game.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the AA pick. It's like, I have a counter to Timber Saw Timbersaw doesn't really care. The plus side is you don't have to ban Huskar anymore if this is
Hmm.
mid Ember, which I'm assuming it is. And I think that's the biggest important factor, because if you pick Huskar here on SR backs and you get hit by Ice Blast at any point in the game, you die. So you just kind of can't play Huskar. It's a suicidal move.
That is true. I actually like that point a lot. I think the AA is that safeguard in a way. So how do you approach here? You could Meepo if you're Starbacks, but they will go for Primal. Meepo just having that higher magic resistance than normal makes it really good against Gyro, against Edge and Operation, and against Ember. It's just a very, very known counter. This Primal is decentish, although I don't like it against Rubik. I think the lane is good for him. It forces the Ember into the Chains build, which makes him farm slower, do less damage in the fights. They don't necessarily have, when Mirana Arrow or something to pair the Chains with. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. I feel like there's definitely better Primal games, but when you have Dreamstroke, especially with the Shard later on, when you can deal with the Chains, deal with some of these controls that they have on Boom, you're going to be really happy anyways.
I think the most important thing here is the fact you get a quick BKB. They have nothing to control you. You can just charge through the middle. Yeah, Ice Blast is annoying, but you have so much HP most of the time you don't really care. Timbersaw didn't even talk about the point that Timbersaw can just get Ags, which is a normal item to build at one point, and then he can ignore the Ancient Apparitions Ice Blast. I really think that the AA is going to get completely destroyed this game.
Isn't Timber's barrier physical?
I think it's everything.
Oh, yeah, you're right, actually. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was physical. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
If it was physical, it would be terrible.
Yeah, yeah, you are right.
He's got massive armor, and he's like, I need a physical damage absorption shield. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so they need an offlaner here for Boom. They're gonna take Enigma and Doom out. So, what do you actually have left? For Starbacks, you want a carry that deals with the Gyro. I mean, we saw Drow in that one game, and I think they have very little catch for the Drow. It's only Ember. I love Drow this game.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Drow's been looking pretty nice. The Frost Arrows are also really good to have. You go up in a cliff, Gyrocopter can't really touch you. Phantom Assassin is okay. The plus side is those supports are easy money.
Yeah.
So you just one-shot them. You can kill the Ember Spirit pretty quickly. Gyrocopter is a little tougher to kill most of the time. But Boom Esports in general, their HP pulls on their heroes are so tiny compared to the Estar packs, Timbersaw Primal. It feels like a dangerous game where if Boom does not get a good, solid frontlining offlaner, they might just get run down.
Yeah, and to me, what they need right now on Boom is a team fighting offlaner. Like, I would love a Darks here, but when you look at your heroes, only Ember really benefits from it. You have no Illusion Hero for the wall. So I don't think they're going to go that route, but I think you need something that can build Greaves, build Pipe, just prevent this PA from being this bursting here that can jump the backline supports. Underlord is honestly not bad. I'm just not sure if Village would be happy playing it. I think we saw him play like Lycan one game, then he played...
Oh, that Lycan game, he was really good. That was actually a very impressive Lycan game.
I wonder if they would play it here. Because you do have Timber, right? I feel like he deals well with all of those creeps because of the pure damage. I think Primal also does nicely. So this is a really hard pick. I don't think there's a good last pick here, which is why I think Starbacks has the advantage.
Okay, yeah, they're going to go center. They're going to just default it. Which obviously Centaur is still pretty good. Can definitely die in the lane against a... Okay, it is a Dark Willow Pulse 5 plus a PA, yeah. You get hit by the roots that they have on a Starbacks. The Soulbind makes it problematic for the Centaur. I also think that Boom might be lacking in control themselves. They have the Centaur Stomp, Gyrocopter's Homing Missile, which is kind of terrible, and the Rubik's Lift. Those are the control spells that Boom have, which I think might be a little bit too little to control a Timber, Primal, and a PA in a fight.
Yeah, I really prefer Starbacks draft here. I feel like they have the better scaling. I feel like sure this Timber could struggle in the lane, but Timber recovers much better than Centaur, I think. I feel like when Centaur has a bad laning stage, he's just kind of a non-factor the entire game, whereas Timber, you farm a couple of items, you get your Kaya, get your levels, and you still feel very powerful, especially against squishy supports like what Boom has. I really prefer Starbacks. Like, to me, it's a 70-30 draft.
Yeah, I'm going with you on that one. I think it's looking pretty good for Starbacks. It's a mid Timbersaw, by the way, and the offlane
Oh, true.
primals. So I think actually that is better because I don't think Ember does much against the Timbersaw at all. You have the magic damage absorption shield, but like he
You have
doesn't
no
really care
regular
because you have pure damage.
Yeah, like losing your damage against the Timber is what really kind of freaks with you. Because like, sure, you have the damage absorption and you're not gonna die to the Timber, but if you're losing 11%, how much is it? 13% of your stats, then Slatums is gonna be less hitting for 46, right? As December, like this is so bad, and you're gonna be laning against a 62 base damage Timber. It's just not ideal at all.
And it's also because it's a mid Timber. They tend, I don't know if he will, but they tend to not go for reactive armor at all. And then you have a Timber Chain, Whirling Death max level. At level 6, there is no lane that's safe. You can one-shot anyone.
Yeah, I truly agree with you. I feel like you... Sometimes you see one point. I don't feel like Ember is the type of hero that kind of forces you into that at all. Yeah, this Timber mid is even worse than what I was expecting. So it's really going to be on Boom to get good rotations. I feel like this is a game Slatums needs to pop off. And I've seen some really good games from his Ember Spirits. But even their supports, like AA is just terrible at rotating. And Rubik is, decent at best. You're gonna need this gyro to be active. You're gonna need everyone on Boom to pull their weight, because I really don't think their draft is bad. Like, too much better in the late game and in the early game.
I'm curious to see what kind of build it's going to be on Dark Mago, though. Quick Blink Dagger, I think, is probably the first thing that comes to mind when I see Timbersaws in this patch. And then it is roam and take anyone down. Oh no, the harass. Rubik does so much.
Yeah, I felt like he was getting too close. Maybe you get chains, you lift him into the tower, you get a hoof stomp, but they didn't really... He wasn't close enough, I feel, like for all of that to connect. And starting with chains can always be pretty bad for Ember, so you have to be 100% sure you're going to get the kill, and even then, it can be problematic for you.
Well, let's see, do we get any nice steals coming in? The roots are there. Illich with the stomp. Gets the bounty room, but he takes so much damage from Dark Mago. Who's going to get first blood? That's going to be a very, very fast bottle pickup as well. And it should even be 3 bounties coming in for the side of Starbacks against the singular one from Boom. So there are... they're not starting off this game that greatly.
Timber versus Ember, with Timber having minute 0 bottle. That has to be nightmare fuel right there for Slatums.
Yeah, the Whirling Death spam is going to be annoying. He, in response, does have the Flame Guard that can't be removed, which is a big plus for the Ember. So that he can constantly keep the harass up onto Dark Mago without, well, losing his shield prematurely.
Yeah. Premature. Well, I actually don't want to make a joke about that, but even though you can get the harass going, the CS is really the problem, right? Flame Guard, unless it's level 2, and it's pretty, slow DPS.
Well, let's see. Top side. I'm wondering if we're going to get to see any Underlord in this patch. I think the buffs on Underlord were actually really good. So I'm just hoping for it at one point to come back.
The problem is that, buffing Ags is a bit weird, because I don't feel like that's the first or the second item you want to build on him. If it was like a shard buff, if it was something else, I could have seen it, honestly. You need to find a way so that this Ags is actually worth enough for you to, like, buy it as a first or second item, which I'm not sure we're there yet.
I more like the atrophy aura change. The Ags was of course nice, but the atrophy aura change was pretty big, and the
What was it again?
bonus damage per creep increased by 1 per level. So instead of getting at level 1, getting 2 damage per creep, you get 3. So that's a 50% increase at level 1, which is pretty big.
Yeah, I think for mid Underlord is definitely good. Offlane might be a bit not that big, but if you're just laning mid with bottle, then it honestly becomes something really powerful.
Yeah, no, obviously the Agnum Scepter is now kind of weird. But I think there's definitely teams that can abuse it. Dark Mago is one of those players where I always think, hey, Underlord could be a mid. But nonetheless, it has a reason why it's not really being picked up that much.
Very low, but no mana on MNZ.
And top side, do they manage to get away? Yor will be able to walk towards some neutral creeps, which is a bit scary, but will disengage. And a bit of a harass between the two sides. Slatum is hella struggling mid. This is to be expected. Ember versus Timbersaw. He does have a point in reactive armor on Dark Mago, but Slatum is in a very big predicament here.
Yeah, I mean, this lane is absolutely awful. Like, I think this is what you expect, you know, having the same denies as the Ember has, yes, because it is really, really hard.
And once he hits level 6, you're probably just dead. Chakra
I mean, you
plus
can die.
Whirling Death, you're dead. Yeah, right now,
Might be
if he gets a good
4-6.
Timber Chain plus Whirling Death, you're probably also dead.
Yeah, and he does have it, 1 point, so gotta be very careful here. The other lanes are pretty decent, I think. You know, the Gyro kind of both carries slightly ahead or tied with the offlaners. I don't think the side lanes shouldn't really be too much of a problem for either side. Maybe we could see a kill.
Yor about to die. Wants to suicide, but Knight will be able to get the zap in with the Fade Bolt.
All right, that's a big one. I do feel like this Primal Grimstroke could definitely kill the AA, so it's really a question of them having their points. Primal is saving a skill point on Onslaught right now, but they have the Inkswell level 2. That's all you need. If you find a good opening, if you harass Panda, you can definitely kill him.
Yeah, you could probably even kill off because at that stage, Primal does do a lot of damage, especially once he hits at level 4. With a level 2 point in Trample, Onslaught, and also if he gets the Uproar stacks, which currently he does have maxed out, you have to be very careful fighting up against him. MNZ top lane going in on tonight, but taking a lot of damage in response from Illich. Magic Wand poppage. Illich actually is the one in trouble himself right now.
No.
Gets hit by another Bramble. Gotta sidestep those perfectly. Nice lift up from Knight to make sure his teammate does not get overwhelmed. But Knight is now pretty much out of resources.
Yeah, this is everyone just using so much mana and resources there. Bottom lane, they did get boots onto Sacred, so this could be that kill we're talking about, and indeed it is.
Yeah, Michel trying to run away. Actually, Pakaz turning his attention towards Sacred. The slow comes out, and they should both get away. In the meantime, underneath the tower in mid, Dark Mago just spamming spells onto Slatum. Doesn't really care about what this Ember throws at him because he's got 14 denies on the Timbersaw. That is a huge Timber.
Yeah, just as we expected, you know, not banned. You first phase, I guess second phase this Ember Spirit, and you do pay the price for it, but they still feel like Slatum's could be a nuisance if he gets those levels, gets those items. Well, first point of contention is going to be this rune, which will be an illusion.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Quickly
attack.
picked up by Yor. Dark Mago coming to say hi to Slatum. Shotgun damage is hefty. Inkswell comes up on
Yes,
top,
he's-
and the Ember Spirit is dead. Nice rotations coming in, and yeah, it's just big Timbersaw gaming at this stage.
Yeah, he got his 6 when he was 10% HP, unfortunately. Could have probably lived. But, yeah, this is a big problem. Pakaz on the bottom side could be in trouble here, but should be okay. Well, this is a level 5 Primal, so you gotta be very, very careful. Thankfully, they do have this Ice Vortex, which is a soft counter to the Primal Beast, but I think as long as you have the Inkswell, it should pretty much counter that move speed slow. Like Inkswell gives 20% bonus and Ice Vortex up to... It becomes 22% level 3. So you pretty much offset the Vortex as long as you have Inkswell on
Dire's
you.
middle tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
There's a nice 2k net worth lead for Estar backs, but because he's got 3 points in the flat cannon, so if they get him some stacks, he might be able to get huge quickly. I do like the fact that they're already countering one of the camps in the Radiant Triangle. To clean that one up, you're though looking for Pakaz. There is Michel walking in, but underneath the tower they spot out Panda, and Panda soaks up the gank attempt, which is a pretty big save at the very least for his
Radiant
gyro
are
safe lane.
scanning.
Dark Mago going for that blink you were talking about. 400 gold away from it. It's going to be huge timing. Maybe minute 9, minute 10 blink dagger.
And what can the Ember do? Slatum is going to get an Arcane Rune. That's actually a pretty decent pickup. Dark Mago's almost done with the Blink Dagger. That is terrifying. It will be a looks to be, yeah, he gets huge stacks as well onto that Timbersaw, so that looks to be a pre-10-minute Blink Dagger on a Timbersaw who already has Arcane Boots, Magic Wand, Bottle, and a casual Windlace, which I think every single hero in this patch is currently picking up.
Mm-hmm. One of the best items in the game. Good way to see if a player is, you know, above 7k MMR, see if he just buys random Windlaces. That's really good telling. In terms of stacks here, we see Starbacks going for a stack on their triangle. Not that many stacks from Doom, despite the fact they have this gyro. So that might could be a problem. Top lane.
Top lane going in. MNZ just TP'd towards the tier 1 tower as well. Oh no, not TP'd. He just didn't have a TP. I thought he TP'd away. But he's going to get taken down though in response. They will find Illich looking for more. Boom should be able to disengage. Blink Dagger in 4 seconds. Panda. Oh, there's a tier 1 token lying on the floor, which Panda will pick after grabbing the nice and gorgeous bounty rune. So even though he dies, he does get 2 miniature objectives yoinked away. Was it a radiant one or was the dire one? Might have been a radiant one.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah,
is
it was a
under attack.
radiant one. Okay, so they might have actually almost lost their the one by accident there.
Very true. Battlefield though, on the way here for Minos, even though he died and he has not the greatest CS, he isn't that far away from Pakaz net worth-wise. And because he skipped his threads, he's already 2 components away.
Sacred bopping Pakaz, but knows he doesn't have enough damage, especially with the Great Healing Lotus. However, there is a Dark Mago heading that direction. And knowing that that's coming his way, immediately goes for the TP out.
Mm-hmm. Very good awareness there, as they will start cutting the wave. They had a catapult wave as well. This should be a tower for Starbacks. In the top side, though, they're not really applying the same pressure. So this is honestly a big advantage here for the Dire already.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, yours getting close to level 6. I think that's pretty big. Illich has the Stampede to quickly get out. Dark Mago is trying to chase him down. Pakaz is nearby, though. Doesn't have cooldown. Does give away that they have an Observer Ward in the area. Because they did get hit, but the Observer Ward is expiring right now. So
Radiant's bottom
Gaz is like, oh, they have a ward here. But it just vanished, so that might
Mid
be
lane,
essentially
though.
wasted. Towards mid, Panda in trouble, doesn't have his level 6 yet. He is so very close, but with the Phantom's Embrace, wouldn't even be able to get the cast off regardless. Dominating streak for Dark Mago. Timbersaw on a roll, because going Chrysalis, probably Agnum Scepter afterwards. MNZ, as you mentioned, Battle Fury. What's Sacred going for? Blade Mill, very scary item to deal with for a Gyrocopter, because you have that uncontrollable AoE damage. So Blade Mill is probably one of your biggest enemies.
They will find Pakaz here. They have that deep ward. They see the courier delivering, so they are very much aware of the positioning of the Jaro, but actually second guess themselves. They're gonna go for Panda instead.
Panda still not level 6. Ice Blast still not there just yet. This Dark Mago is just making too many plays. And Slatum, he's playing Ember Spirit, does have 3 points of Flame Guard, so is decent at the very least, trying to catch back up in net worth. But Embers have some struggles with early game catching up of net worth until they get like Maelstrom. Their farming speed is pretty lackluster.
They heavily rely on the AA Blast being ready. Panda still not level 6, unfortunately. And the other big thing is the Centaur is not having a great game either. So his Blink Dagger is still 1,200 gold away. It means that the plays that they could possibly make to kill Dark Mago are going to come pretty late. And if he doesn't make any mistakes, once they're ready, like there's already going to be a Kaya Sanj, maybe an Eternal Shroud on the way as well. You might lack the damage even if you have the items. Oh...
Jump in onto Illich, has the Stampede. There is a chase in from Sacred as well. Yeah, yes, the Stampede out of there, knowing that he's otherwise
Might be dead.
Might still get jumped here. Actually, on the other side, it's Slatum who's going to get silenced up, stunned up. Will Slatum disengage? Is terrorized up in the sky. Knight's looking for a possible great spell. Steel won't find it just yet. Sacred even charging forward. And the slow onto Knight, the chop coming through, and Dark Mago with another kill, who is now on a killing mega kill streak and looking for that tier 1 tower towards mid. Even MNZ making a move this early, joining his teammates, is pretty surprising for a PA.
Yeah, no boots PA somehow finding a way to contribute. I mean, Pakaz is also doing his thing. He pretty much got the tier 1 tower top, although with heroes now missing his force out. Never mind, he's gonna go back and will be found. There is a Blade Mail on this Primo as well.
Yeah, but he's going on to the... Okay, Dark Mago is actually going to get killed off in mid, but in response, Pakaz dies topside. So a core for core. I do think that because, of course, Dark Mago was so stupidly fat, it's a big plus. But yeah, the one that got the gold for the Dark Mago kill was Knight. Not ideal. Ooh, they're starting to find their footing here on the side of Boom. A bit of a recovery coming out. Knight charging forward. That might have been a bit of a mistake, because the Primal Beast was also here. Ice Blast does click over him, so Sacred's gonna die next, and Yours even going to be chased further by Slatum. They're aggressively hunting. Will be able to get the control. You're looking to get taken down, and that is almost even Stevens right now in terms of the net worth advantage.
Damn, that was a big turnaround here for Boom. It starts with that one Timber pick, and then Starbucks didn't really expect that much explosion, that much aggression coming from Boom, but they found so many kills. That Ember still, pretty far behind, but his levels are now fixed. He was level 8, gets 2 levels out of that. Yes, Minos did get his Battle Fury. He didn't really get punished by all of that. We'll also find himself a Wisdom Rune, but in general, that 4k goal lead just vanished in a minute.
Yeah, it's very quickly removed. Dark Mago, Pakaz is currently catching up towards him. Once he gets that Aghanim Scepter, is actually able to fight. MNZ is going to have to take a little bit longer of a time to be able to take any of these engagements, but is going to go for that Deso as his second one. They're looking to roam, maybe get a catch. MNZ does need to be a bit careful. And they're even countering the Ancient camp there, so that there's no free farming coming through from MNZ. But in response, a smoke rotation from the Dire Heroes. Sacred gets hit by the Ice Blast. Soulbind on towards 2, wants to get the Pulverize going. It's not even needed. They get a double kill. York gets that one easy peasy. Yeah, the power right there of Dark Willow's Bedlam shines bright.
I mean, this Sacred Primal Beast now finds another one, has the Pulverize.
That's a big one. It's so much damage onto Pakaz. He's trying to get something in response, but he will just drop dead. Nothing gained here for Boom. They immediately lose all that net worth they gained from the previous engagement in a couple of seconds.
This cloak on the Primal Beast has been so important. He would never have survived that fight without it. And I think Eternal Shroud on both Dark Mago and Sacred are going to be huge. But wait a second here, as mid lane, there's a fight being set up. They have the silence.
Oh, Inkswell stun comes out, and he is also hit by that Phantom's Embrace, so there's no disengaging coming through. The power of Grimstroke compels you, and indeed it is looking disastrous, this Wombo combo, once he gets the shard as well. Oh, he has the shard, never mind on the Grimstroke. It is this
And
Timber
stack time.
should not die.
They...
Oh, Knight. Chopped down quickly. Dark Mago, though, now he can't be healed, needs to get himself out of there.
No.
Speaking of which, they know that Illich doesn't have a Stampede, so might want to go back in. Yor walks through, counter warding at the same time, places a new observer ward up the high ground, dodges the stomp.
Oh, they're fighting for the stacks.
Yeah, MNC's coming in from the other side. This is a pretty hefty stack. There's also no Ice Blast available anymore. Pakaz, this could be disastrous. Pakaz is dead. Looking immediately for Illich. Dark Mago just wants blood. Nice jump from Slatum, going for the two supports on the backline. We'll find both of them, but Sacred will be able to lift him up. Ember Spirit smack down Dark Mago, chopping through onto Knight. Knight steals the Chakram, with the response damage not being anywhere close to enough.
All right, so close this game. Even though the gold advantage is big. Oh my.
Okay, that was an interesting move. MNC was still in the area and gets himself a free kill onto Illich. I think if you're... I know that Chakram does a lot of damage, and I can see what they tried to do. Maybe they had enough for pure damage to burst down the Timber Saw, but that was a sacrificial play right there.
Yep, not only that, they lost Gyro's neutral item. Minos picks it up, and now he actually has Desolator, Orb of Corrosion, minute 18. This PA is absolutely gigantic. And I mean, we talked about this in the draft. Boom, they needed to explode in the laning stage, and that was not what happened. They got Pandas level 6, minute 13. December, even though he kinda recovered, he's still not doing great. And the Centaur, like, we didn't really get to see much of Village just because, I don't know, they didn't have strong lanes. The Centaur Rubik sometimes is strong against melees, but I feel like PA is one here that doesn't care. You can just get CS with the dagger. You don't need to approach the creeps as much as other heroes. They're just being pushed around.
Slatum quickly jumping out of there. Doesn't want to have any duels going on. Sacred going in for the BKB next. You did mention the Eternal Shroud. It is done. Timbersaw is going for Ags, and Dark Mago is almost finished with the Ags. They will not have the damage to go through that Aghanim Scepter.
They will not. They will definitely not have it. This Timber also got himself a Pulpil's Gift. Look at his HP right now. 2,500. That's without finishing the Ags. He's going to be 3k HP with the barrier. Like, I don't know how you go through that.
Judge forward, Sacred looking for a catch. They'll quickly disengage on the side of Boom. Panda gets the TP away. Illich might not be so lucky. He's going to get chased. Stampede is on cooldown, and yeah, that Centaur is very dead.
Force Stampede, you get the center kill. Boom gets nothing, and they also cannot fight for the duration of that cooldown. This is... They're going to have to buy a lot of time. This Gyrocopter is going to have to become huge, and even then, he's not a good matchup against the PA. This is not a hero that likes being matched against PA whatsoever.
It's a scary game when a Primal Beast is amongst the top 3 cores, because Primal Beast is just a very weak farmer. You don't normally... Like, Trample has such a long cooldown, a lot of Primals don't want to use it, because it just puts you out of the running for 21 seconds on Trample cooldown.
And that's also BKB Piercing Disable, which they don't really I guess so Rubik Shard is could be that save in the future. But they're very, very poor, and they did not get the Tormentor just yet.
Yeah, well, the only thing that's really a big plus for the Rubik this game is that it's easy to steal the Pulverize.
Yeah.
Because you don't steal anything from PA. Grimstroke spells are okay, pretty good to steal. Dark Willows are
They're fine.
They're pretty. They're actually really okay. But if you get by, like, there are some that are better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Timbersaw Chakram is probably still that one plus Pulverize are probably the best spells that you can get this game.
For sure. They're definitely the good ones. Soulbind, you know, there's an argument for that as well. But that's
Yeah,
a hard
hold
one to
them
steal
down.
because he's going to Soulbind silence almost every single time. So.
Instantly afterwards, yeah. So it's just not an easy steal to make. It is a great steal if you can get it, the Soulbind, because it makes sure that the Primal / Timbersaw / PA aren't as mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, MNC very mobile towards top, looking for Panda. Chop, chop, chop. Blasted, completely taken down. And yeah, the AA kind of has a game that I expected, just not much he can do.
Yeah, we talked about it during the draft. Just not a big fan. They tried to use this as a response to the Primal, but the slow is just not enough. They still got kills with that combination just because the Inkswell offsets that slow. And you're just a creep later on. They have so much gap close. All 3 cores are mobile as hell on the Starbacks. And now they're gonna collapse here in the tier 2. They could get the Tormentor, they could get the Tower. There's nothing really stopping the Starbacks from getting everything.
Yeah, free shard on Dark Willow is pretty good. Or 1/4. Yeah, Yor gets it. So you're going to have brambles upon brambles in these team fights. I even remember there was a time, a long time ago, when Taiga played the Dark Willow, that Dark Willows went for like shard into Octarine, just so that they could throw bramble mazes on the floor and then curse crown, and then you constantly had brambles and no one could move during the team fight. That just shows you how strong that shard is.
Yeah, it's really, really good. We do see a fight here. They're gonna find because.
Oh no, because that's not a hero that you can afford to lose in the slightest at this stage of the game.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Boom. We talked about them being the theoretical favorites for this series, but I really feel like they shot themselves in the foot with this draft, just not allowing way too early of an Ember Spirit, knowing that heroes like Timber, heroes like Primal were available. They're cutting ways with style items. They're, you know, trying to split push with the gyro, but they are being punished, and it feels like MNZ is gonna find another one if he just looks a bit further. And there we go.
That's another easy cleanup kill for MNZ. Going for the Deso next. You also have Dark Mago building Scythe of Vice. At one point, I think getting a shard might be advantageous because they only don't have any tower push. That's like the weakest thing that they have in the draft. So maybe getting the shard so he can use the flamethrower on towards the enemy's buildings.
I mean, even still, they're just choking Boom here. You don't need to use this first Aegis. Like, they have 0 rush on the side of Starbacks because they scale better anyways. So they can take this slow. Just keep choking Boom. Don't let them lift the base. If they do, make sure that you're getting trade somewhere else. And Minos, he's just constantly scouting his area. He might find Panda again. He does get lucky. Or not.
Yeah, Panda. Gotta be careful. Sacred has the jump forward. 2-man stomp coming in. Wants to get the pulverize going. Will turn his attention and still get the catch on to Knight. Will be taken down actually by MNZ. So PA money coming in. And the 2 supports are down up the high ground. They go towards bottom. Can they defend is the question. There's even going to be an instant charge by Sacred up on the high ground. Inkswell will not be able to connect to anything, but the fortification has been used.
Alright, they still have 40 seconds of Aegis here. They want to at least force this gyrocopter back to the base. Minos is a little bit low in HP, but does complete the Basher now, and they will retreat. You know, they really have no rush. If you look at the Gabenator right now, that's a 2% for Boom, and I think it is pretty much correct.
2% is pretty low. I think I'd give them 5 just because they can still fountain
Oh,
dive.
generous.
I've seen too many potato fountain dives in my time.
This is
The game is
Minos,
never
right? We're not talking
completely
about Parker. We're not talking about this youngsters. Mino is a full-fledged man. He knows discipline.
I can see Dark Mago diving into the fountain.
That is true.
And,
I can definitely
Sacred.
agree with
I
that.
I can see them both going full davai, and just charge right in.
Full vamos. Full ga.
Yeah, full gas. Sacred though. Ice Blast comes out. He survives at quite a decent amount of damage. Still has the Pulverize available, but doesn't want to give it away just yet. Does get taken down. BKB jump away from Slatham. Almost gets one shot by MNZ. Because going back for the man fight here. MNZ taken down on the backline by Dark Mago, who will be able to get himself a nice secondary kill. Jump into onto Pagasi. They know he has no BKB, and no BKB means no okay. It's just the two supports that are left standing, and Dark Mago is looking for blood. Knight, Chakram v Chakram, does not get himself the Timber Chain steal, and that's the steal that he really needed to try and stay alive in that man fight. With the Gyro GG gets called, and they will tap out on Boom Esports.
Okay. The classic HFN GG out. That is, he's the one that patented it, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna get a couple of bucks in his bank account after this, because every other SA carry that does it has to abide. This is not great, honestly. Just looking at the way they GG out, I know that Boom is a very capable team, but this type of GG always gives me bad vibes. And sure, it was mostly a draft problem, I think, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Boom still do pretty well. But Starbacks just showing that they want to be the new kids in the block here in these finals, because it's been Boom versus Heroic for a while now.
Yeah, I think the Starbacks, especially considering they got dropped from like the first round and made that entire lower bracket run. Very impressive performance from them this game. They were in control at any step of the way, even from that, first blood moment in the beginning of the game onto Illich. But I mean, Boom Esports, second pick Ember Spirit. If you don't have a flex for your mid in that case, you might as well just pick it later. There is no reason to go for that immediate pickup. Because, we can counter Huskar with the AA, but Timber doesn't really care that much. And Dark Mago didn't care that much. And Dark Mago was deadly. I think that is going to be a first ban in game number 2, because with the fact that it's, of course, flexible, it makes it one terrifying opponent. Nonetheless, ladies and gents, we're going to go towards a break. We'll be right back for game number 2 between Boom Esports and the Starbacks after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 will be starting momentarily. The draft's actually already on the way. My name is DK Truman. I'm joined by the wonderful Bowie. And we're looking to hopefully get a 3-mapper here between the Starbacks and Boom Esports. Because game number 1, Starbacks looked deadly.
Oh yeah, they had a really good draft. They executed, not a lot of mistakes, and to be honest, they didn't even try to hold that long on the side of Boom. They ended up GGing out. So we'll see. Sometimes that can be good. Sometimes you mentally reset, but the carry giving the call, right, rather than the captain. That is, I guess he is the cap. Is he the one drafting for Boom? That's interesting. I don't remember him being the one that drafts for Boom, at least in the past. I for sure remember Panda having the captain role.
Maybe he just clicks the buttons, but I assume it's a collaborative effort regardless.
True. They did go for the DK here. They did ban the Timber, which we all agreed was the biggest problem they faced. They also take away the Grim. So overall, I do like this approach a lot.
5 seconds.
Yeah, the Grimstroke is a nuisance. Both these teams love playing it, but you kind of can't let it go through. DK was banned last time, but this time, because of course different bans came through, does manage to get picked up by Boom Esports. Pango for a Starbacks. That's one of the Dark Mago's favorite mid lane heroes to play. Don't know if Sacred flexes it though.
He might be able to, although I'm not sure if I like it, right? Maybe in a really good lane, it is possible. But, if you feel like there's not going to be any hero that can truly counter it, you should be fine. There is the Husker that we didn't see banned because AA was picked. But besides that, even against Huskers, I've seen Pangos actually do well. It feels like the fact that now Pango only does physical damage with the Q and the W makes it a bit trickier for the Husker, because he is a very low armor hero that does hate burst damage.
Well, that's another hero that I think was banned in the last game. The Bat Rider coming into play. Very obnoxious. Michel is really good on the Bat Rider as a +4 as well. It gets rid of most safe lane heroes, so you're going to have to deal with it accordingly. Bane is very capable of dealing with a Bat Rider. Of course, the nightmare to keep the Bat Rider away from you during the laning stage is probably the most obnoxious thing for a Bat to deal with.
I'm just answering your question about the flex of the Pangolier here. Sacred is actually his 4th most played hero, although the last time he played it was 8 months ago. So not something he does very often, but he can definitely pull if they feel like the lane is going to be at least decent enough.
Yeah, I remember seeing Sacred play it, but I did not know it was that long ago. Boom Esports, go for the Mirana, which should probably be Knights +4 Mirana. With the Bane, you have 2 insanely easy setups for the arrow, making their Mirana pretty much be activated instantly.
Yeah, I love that they picked this Bane as well, not only because of the setup of the Mirana, but, Panda, we know how Pakaz is. He is a player that likes to be enabled. He is a player that likes to play from ahead. And AA and Bane are night and day when it comes to strength in the lane. Bane, one of the strongest lane supports, although he will probably struggle against this Bat Rider Darks here. His turn rate is awful, so turning around to get the Nightmare off or even the Brain Sap off could cost him a lot of time. But they will go for this Faceless Void here. They're gonna give the win condition here on Pakaz. Not a lot of counters, honestly, that you can pick up, although Starbacks, they have to try and find a way.
Disruptor is not a hero you see too often or ever in this patch, but it does make a lot of sense if you have a Darkseer. The vacuum into Stagstorm Kinetic Field, especially if you at one point get the Aghanim Scepter on this Disruptor, is disgusting to deal with. Also, Darkseer can easily interrupt the Fiend's Grip, which is always a nice plus, and it lanes super good with the Bat Rider. Faceless Void might actually have to be careful in that lane, because he is not great against dot damage, and yeah, Bat Rider Darkseer is the epitome of dot damage.
Yeah, they have a lot of dot damage. In fact, it is Batrider, Darkseer, Disruptor. That Disruptor is honestly, I think was one of the supports that got buffed the most out of everyone else. Going from 0.1 to 0.4 slow level 1 is huge for this hero, and I think it really allows him to get more kill potential in the lane. In the past, it was all about getting those glimpses off. You would even max it level 5, whereas now I feel like I guess it's still a really good value point just because the slow is the same at all levels, but yeah, I do feel like this hero grew a lot stock-wise because of the buffs, as they're going to take away that Illich. Lycan we talked about, very potent. What else is left?
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I do. I kind of hate the fact that it removes more value from the strikes, because Disruptor is just a terribly farming support. Absolutely horrible. Mainly because you're kind of forced to go for max level glimpse. So you have no farming tools until you're well into the mid game, and you have a couple of levels in the Thunderstrike. Because normally it's you go max level glimpse, and then afterwards you go for the kinetic field max level. So you have just no farm. Then you get the shard, which is okay. That you have like the mini mine that you can place, and they walk over it. But even that, only the only important thing about it is that it gives you vision.
Yeah, for sure. It is a bit sad. But the hero is very strong, especially against those carries that have scapes like Anti-Mage, Faceless Void. So I do feel like it's still a good pick, and he doesn't necessarily need the items to kill Pakaza as long as they get the levels fast enough. I think that is one of the problems Panda faced game number 1 with his AA. And Disruptor can be the same. A hero that really relies on his 6 past the laning stage. And Bloom here taking a while to decide the counter that they want to remove here. I feel like the Void is definitely a good one. Morphling still in the pool, by the way. I do feel like that is by far the best one they could go for.
Yeah, Morphling would be a nice choice, especially considering you can use Shard during Chrono, as it counts as a stun, so you can... I think he still has the same shard, and against during Fiend's Grip as well, so it's actually not too problematic if you manage to pick it up. And it's a bit scary that they have left that one open. Beastmaster, they do have so many tools though against the Pangolier. They have the Roar, they have the Fiend's Grip, and they have the Chrono. And that Pangolier is looking like it's going to have a terrible game. Definitely feeling like this might be a Lincoln Sphere requirement to play the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of options you can go for here. If this was an European team, Pudge could show up. I feel like Gyro is not bad against the Beastmaster, but you don't really like playing against Void. You can go for the Morphling, honestly. He's not bad against Beastmaster in lane. I feel like he would be the overall all-around hero that can also build Lincolns, as we talked
this
about.
would be such a good Pudge game. This is such a good Pudge game. It's
a
actually insane. Even laning with Disruptor, it's the easiest Pudge game ever.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
don't care about them. You have a save against multiple tools. But yeah.
I'm going to check here. How many Pudge games does MNZ has? He has...
Everyone has Pudge games.
Competitively, my friend. The Pudge of our boy has been played one time, and he lost.
Well, there's so many heroes that people know how to play, but just never play competitively until the moment appears where the chances
2 days
are great
ago,
to
by the
use
way.
it.
2 days ago, he played it.
Oh, then might as well go for it now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they do have one game up.
Oh, that's
I do
actually
like this.
a really, really good batting game.
Mm-hmm. This is a
might
classic.
even be a better one.
Yeah, I agree. This is... You don't care about Chrono. You don't care about Fiend's Grip. You don't... the lane against the Beast is a bit annoying because you do get kited, so you don't have the benefits that Pudge would give you in that regard. But I still feel like
as well.
Yeah, I'm down with Disaba. I honestly, again, feel like Starbucks has all it takes. Like, the lanes are better for Boom, but not to the extent I think they're going to stomp them. Dispango should have, like, normal farm against Latums. Abaddon should get decent farm. And yeah, the Darkseer should also get decent farm, and I feel like if all of those 3 cores are happy on Starbacks, you still can win the mid game. So I'm going with them. I feel like Boom Esports, I don't know. They have an okay draft, but they're not really wowing me. Yeah, there's nothing amazing against their draft about their draft. They have okay heroes.
I am actually gonna go with Boom Esports. I think that they have such an easy to execute draft compared to a Starbacks. Like Pango has no game with the Roar, with the Fiend's Grip, with the Chrono. They have very easy arrow setups with the Nightmare Arrow every single time that they can throw. Obviously, Abaddon is a save to that, but he only has 1 shield. And if he pops his borrow time, for instance, he gets nightmared and he is out of the fight completely. So they have a multitude of tools on Boom, and they even have like DK that can split the map apart. High ground push for Starbacks is the Abaddon. That's it. Nothing else that they can do for a high ground push. Boom Esports, they've got Beastmaster to split push. And DK to split push, and they have high ground push. They got Roche. I really just like the Boom Esports draft here. A significant amount more.
All right, so we have a bit of a disagreement here. We'll see who's going to be right, who's going to be left. But overall, it does feel like it's going to be a more competitive game. That I agree with. I feel like that game 1 was pretty obvious how things were going to unfold, and they would need sort of a miracle. Oh, Minos here, just going under tier 1 tower for some reason. Will scout the Darius vision.
A bit of harassment. Can they kill off the wolf? Yes, they can. 27 gold already for the Abaddon. Easy money.
15 experience. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's on everyone in the area, so that's not too
GG.
shabby.
That is GG right there.
You also have to be very careful in this entire game with Glimpse and BKB combinations. Because, of course, if you go for a BKB TP out and you get Glimpse in the very last second, you still get dragged back most of the time.
Yeah, just like it happens with that X marks the spot that we see so often. It can definitely be a problem. In terms of the lanes here, we already see the Darkseer going for some body blocks, but they have 2 supports from Starbacks here on the bottom side. I wonder what exactly they are cooking. Maybe they feel like if this Mirana gets arrow level 1, they could potentially get a kill.
Yeah, of course, even if you get leap, you gotta be careful because you can get dragged back. Once the kinetic field is up as well from Disruptor, he makes sure you cannot escape as a Mirana, which is going to be pretty impactful. There is the arrow usage by Knight. And Michelle nearby, are they going to be able to get a kill? Bomb back onto
grenade.
There's a Glimpse as well, and that Beastmaster should be dead. Glimpse dragged back, surrounded by enemies. His Hawk's trying his best. Actually, yours dropping very low in response, but should be able to stay alive in the end, and it will be a TP out by Michelle. Nice kill, gets secured. Beastmaster. No, it doesn't have to be careful. Glimpse. Yeah, you will play it very safe though, but won't get glimpsed all the way back towards base, luckily enough.
That's also a pull here from yours, so he just got a lot of value out of that glimpse. He gets the kill, he gets a pull, so even though they push the lane, they will be able to kind of offset it a little bit. Again, Starbucks having a pretty good start. The mid lane is, though, being won by the DK, which is, expected. We did kind of talk about it.
Yeah, it's DK doesn't really care about any physical. He has 2 points in Dragon's Blood. He doesn't care about the physical damage that the Pangolier throws out in the slightest. He can ignore the Pango kind of completely during the laning stage. Does make a mistake with his courier, which is a little bit of an oopsie daisy there. First sends it back and then thinks, oh yeah, Dark Mago's gone. Sends it forward again, and then immediately his courier gets smacked.
Yeah, that happens with the best of us, as we do see Minos here trading with the Beastmaster quite a bit, gets that Curse of the Avernus point. Yeah, it's a weird lane, because even though you get kited by the boar as the Abaddon, if you actually get the 4 stacks on Beastmaster, he does take a lot of damage. Pretty slow hero. 300 new speed against the 333 on the Abaddon.
Abaddon with boot speed pretty fast. Might be a bit problematic, but currently Illich struggling a little bit more in that bottom lane. The first blood definitely did not help top side. Michel's trying to get some burn onto Pakaz, who is not actually having that bad of a time in the top lane, but the most important thing is if Sacred can just equalize the lane, he'll be able to farm significantly faster on the Darkseer.
Yeah, and if you do spend that time walk, you have to be so careful. Time dilation. Oh, there we go. That's a trade bottom, but Illich did get the kill first, so slight advantage for Boom.
Yeah, the Illich kill and not to scoff at. He needs a bit of recovery. Will go, of course, once he has that Helm of Iron Will, the damage output will be very little from a Starbucks in that bottom lane. I think that's the most important thing, because Disruptor doesn't do any damage, really, at all. One of the weakest damage dealing supports. Top lane, Pakaz needs to be careful. Leaps back towards the tower. Is actually going to be chased by Sacred. TP is needed. Vacuum drag back. And gets bashes onto Sacred. Sacred's the one dying instead. And now Michel, the tower is going to smack him. Actually, it's Pakaz getting himself another. Panda and Pakaz both find a kill in the top lane. Huge mistake coming out from the Starbacks. And in the bottom lane, it will be Knight dropping again. Does not have a TP for 35 seconds. So it is Abaddon looking like he's having a superb time, aka the last pick paying off so far.
Yeah, that was unfortunate in that top fight. The Iron Shell and the Batrider were off as they were diving, so even though they commit for the Pakaz, they were not doing as much damage. He had a 21 charge as well. Does turn that fight around. But still, this Darkseer is farming a lot. The Abaddon is farming a lot. The Pangolier. Oh, okay, they're going here for the Illich Beastmaster.
Nah, he's not gonna die easily. He is pretty tanky, and he is going to be a lot tankier in a second once that Helm of Iron Will has been delivered. Now, what the big problem I have with the Starbacks' lineup is that they have very little actual damage against a very durable dire side. And if, like, for instance, Knight gets a Yule Scepter, the only damage dealer they have would be the Abaddon, because the rest, like, Pangolier gets controlled with Fiend's Grip / Roar / possibly Chrono even. The Abaddon, if he gets Yuled after popping Borrowed Time, the hero is just nothing. It doesn't do anything anymore, which is very dangerous. Oh, Sacred arrowed up in the top lane, has a surge, taking some heavy damage, will use it to run away, but the bash from Pakaz gets dragged back though with the vacuum counterplay coming through. Dark Mago with the roll onto Panda. That was huge.
Boink.
That was a very sad boink. Panda underneath the tower has a nightmare, gets glimpsed back, still trying to stay alive a little bit longer, but will eventually get taken down. Dark Mago, actually it's Michel that gets the kill. Pakaz is back in action. Dark Mago has a swashbuckle in a second, gets himself back. Can he stay alive? Leap forward by Knight, and the vision is gained. Dark Mago dropping very low, but there are 4 Radiant heroes here. Knight looking for that finisher, but Michel finds it instead, and now Pakaz needs to back off. Is going to get chased. Glimpse back, has a leap at the ready. Bottom lane, Illich gets taken down by MNZ in the meantime, and Pakaz is dead once more. This is disastrous. Slatham does get the tier 1 tower towards mid in the meantime, but they just got smacked in both side lanes.
Dark Mago just baited Pakaz so hard there. He just gets enough mana for the swashbuckle, then he gets the arcanes from someone. Gets that shield crash off. That's enough to sustain all of the time dilation damage. That was amazing. And a lot of times, I think he either canceled his TP or just didn't have one. That was a great read from Starbacks regardless, because they were able to get so much. This is already a 2k goal lead here for Starbacks. They will pressure the top tower. Pakaz is level 4 and the Abaddon is almost level 7.
Yeah, MZ has a complete free lane. He is closing in on the Echo Saber, so he's gonna have insanely good farm this game. Top side, Pakaz, as you mentioned, struggling a little bit at this stage. They do spot out your spots out Panda. Panda needs to be careful. Can he get taken down? Indeed, a 4-man move again onto the top lane. They're so heavy on the aggression. Slatum's not going to join just yet. He is trying to build up that Blink Dagger before he makes any moves.
I do like that he's going for the Blink. I feel like this is, again, a game where Starbucks has the edge in the laning stage, and you need to have a hero that can offset, that can either proactively create plays or respond to them. They're going for this Invis onto Abba, but this is the hardest hero ever to go for a play like this. He still has that skill point. He's just saving, waiting for the right time.
Well, there's going to be the borrowed time. Will be just able to walk it off. Glimpse Illich, drag back. That's the Beast Moss in trouble. MNZ does need to be a little bit careful because Panda is joining the fun. Illich, oh, Panda was too slow on the Nightmare save. And yeah, they keep MNZ alive and get a kill onto Illich. This is looking disastrous for any play Boom is making.
Ooh, this is very problematic. This Abba about to hit level 8. His Echo Saber is pretty much on the way as well. And because he's level 5, he is a shadow of a hero right now. Both Illich and Pakaz just struggling so much in the side lanes.
And Slatum trying to be a big bulky DK, has not been touched or seen this entire game pretty much, and is still not even in the top 3 of net worths with that tower kill that he managed to secure. Yor does need to be careful. Illich has his level 6 now, so could level up the roar, and Yor in the trees. Well, the pump fake gets thrown out. Yor's trying to just drag him away, but with the Knight's TP on the other side, it will be Slatum getting the 3-kill streak from that Disruptor to clean up some comeback money.
Minos going for that standard Ek Harpoon build. It's probably going to be the standard, you know, Harpoon, Manta, Blink Dagger. Once you get that Blink, those supports are just food for you. You just jump in, you get all of those illusions into the silence. It is incredibly powerful. And it means that Pakaz is going to need a Manta or a BKB to deal with that. And you definitely don't want a BKB Manta Abaddon jumping you.
They have... well, you're definitely going to need to get a BKB regardless because of Glimpse this game. It's one of the most annoying possibilities that can happen because topside... and there's a bit of a move coming in. Yor has his level 6, so he's got Static Storm at the ready. And Pakaz in the trees, yeah, he knows he's probably dead. Has to throw out the Chrono onto Yor and wanted to go for a kill, running away.
Play.
Glimpse is not going to be able to get the catch going. It is a good play. It was a bit weird that he wanted to go back in, but I guess he realized there's no allies nearby and he would definitely lack the damage without the full Maelstrom.
Yeah, I mean, he wastes the vision of the Thunderstrike to wear off so he can time walk away, but yeah, it does mean that his Chrono Sphere is on cooldown, but to be honest, I don't think they are in any position, but look at that, that's a lasso on Zlatum's.
Slatum is still very tanky. Saxstorm Kinetic Field comes out. Panda is Mirana ulted, walking forward, throws out the Nightmare, has to disengage, gets Glimpse back underneath enemy control in that Sentry Ward range, and Panda will be a second one down in the dumps. This is dangerous gaming because Starbacks are just running them down.
Yes, they are. They once again just stomp those lanes. The Pangolier was ahead of the DKCS Wiseman at 7, by the way. So Dark Mago definitely only struggle at the beginning against the DK. And he already has his Diffusal Blade. Also has the control of all of the runes. So the plays that Boom can make are not that many. I guess they do have the Blink on Zlatum's now, but with the Moonlight Shadow on cooldown, I wonder exactly what Boom's gonna try and do. You're not killing Minos because he has that OT.
Well, he is going to have a couple of enemies nearby.
Woo!
Dark Mago's got the Rolling Thunder. Nice Nightmare attempt, I guess. And they're going to have to back off with the the disengage from Illich, losing his Helm of the Dominator creep. All that money gifted away as well. Yeah, this is... They just got destroyed in that early game. Those fights top were disastrous for the side of Boom.
They really were. We'll see if Bakaz is going to be able to do his Bakaz things. This is definitely a game where I feel like his hero is better equipped to deal with Starbucks. But again, the core-to-core matchup is not ideal. I still feel like this is a bad and late game. Should be able to withstand the Faceless Void, especially considering how fat, how jacked MNZ is right now. He already has, I think that's the full Harpoon flying out to him.
Yeah, he's got the full Harpoon done. They're going to steal some stacks as well away from the side of Boom, which Illich has been stacking up with the Call of the Wild Boar the entire time. They're even looking for him. Glimpse comes out. Illich in trouble. Static Storm on top. They have the Rolling Thunder available. Even going to use it for good measure. No TPs coming in. And a 9k lead in 13 minutes.
I do like what
do you
Panda is
recover
doing
from
here.
this?
He wants to try and steal the Wisdom Rune. He's trying to get some vision around because they know they're going to lose theirs. And he might be successful at that, actually. No response from Starbucks here. That's the best play he can do.
It gets pinged by the Disruptor. They know what he's trying to do.
Can he get the Nightmare off first? No, he can't.
Can you Nightmare dodge Glimpse?
Is under attack.
I think you can, actually.
Okay. I was just wondering. Oh, Panda. Full
already.
was on Sacred. Oh my god. Ooh, Maran Invis. Goes the opposite direction. They'll never know.
Yeah.
He sees a courier and he goes for the courier snipe. Yay! 75 gold for his entire team. Woohoo!
Doesn't have a TP though, so Boom doesn't even want to bother. Oh, there you go, Michael.
Gel, yeah. He has the Blink Dagger. And a kill for Dark Mago coming in. He's going for the Mage Slayer. Reduce the already lacking damage from the Dire side into less. Slatum going Blink BKB, not the item build you want to go for on a DK in this batch.
Oh yeah, that feels so bad, right? That's another kill. They're gonna lose the Mirana. They are closing in on Zlatum. He at least gets the tower. Will TP to the outpost, but he gets pinged out by the Disruptor. So we'll see if the maybe MNZ can find him here. His blink is on cooldown. Oh, will not be found.
Radiant
Yeah, MNZ, he's already got the gold for Yasha, Pakaz. Maelstrom into Manta style. Gonna be his next choice. Haven't seen a Fiend's Grip yet this game.
True.
So hopefully they can use something there. Oh, Pakaz is going to get caught inside the Stack Storm. Can he disengage? Nightmare too far away from Panda. And there's going to be the drag back by MNZ. Pops the borrow time immediately. Luckily enough, there is no one else rotating towards that area. They're actually going in onto Slatum in mid. Rolling Thunder comes through as well. Vacuum on top of each other. Dark Mago chasing for blood. They will find a kill onto at least Michel, but... Oh, Sacred takes some damage here from Illich, but he is the last one standing and will even be glimpsed out of the Dire base. With that, it looks like a Starbacks are going to be dumpstering Boom in this lower bracket finals because I am completely wrong in my prediction so far.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing so well. I mean, even though they had better lanes, they still got dumpster in the side lanes. That first blood from Starbacks was really cute, just forcing that TP. I feel like in general, the drafting on Starbacks has been way more inventive, way more... like, they still get the meta picks that are good, but they are kind of sprinkling in a couple of interesting heroes, like the Disruptor that is growing in popularity, but I don't think it's, you know, caught off fully yet, just because it's very new. There's a Baton. I love it. It's a South American special. They are able to constantly give Minos these really good matchups against Pakaz. But yeah, I mean, it is Boom, so you cannot really take them away as they're gonna find Michael here, but Knight doesn't even bother the arrow. They're just gonna get vision, I guess. Yeah, they got some wards down.
That's currently all they can aim for is to extend this game, but it's hard when the enemy has a 13k net worth lead and also a Baron, which grants a lot of pushing power. Almost done with this full Manta Sal. That's going to break some buildings. Also opens up the Roche potential for the Radiant side.
Dire's middle tower
I mean,
is under
that's
attack.
Shiva's, right? How are you doing any damage as Boom when all of your damage is going to come from Faceless Void right clicks and this DK? Like, this Void is already poor, and that Shiva's just going to make his attack speed
Has fallen.
so slow. And he's going for that Manta we talked about, but he's still very late on it, as they're going high ground with no Aegis.
Tower is under attack.
Yep, that's the power of a Baron. They just don't feel like they can drop, and as you mentioned, they've got that Shivas. He also has a Blink Dagger on the Darks here now. They even could go for a backline grab. And they also know that they are playing against a pretty strong late game lineups. Don't want to have to deal with like DK, Manta, Ags at one point, cutting all your creep waves. Beastmaster cutting all your creep waves. I think that's a very important factor. They know they need to break that Dire base pretty early, or just starve them out from the map completely.
They didn't force Bakas to go back to the base, which is nice. He's still farming towards that Manta, though his 1500 gold away. But it's another smoke, another move from Boom where they literally, apparently, find no one. They might get the Darks here of Sacred. He is alone.
Alone is, yeah,
Huh.
not really.
Oh no.
Lasso onto Slatum, stacks some kinetic field, hold him in place, Rolling Thunder as well. Not even going to use it. They know they have the kill without it, and they're all grouped up together again. There is no DK for 40 seconds. Might as well start knocking on the high ground again. Pakaz farming up, farming up, farming up. But after his Manta style, he needs a BKB, and you just need too many items at this stage.
Oh yeah, and that is already a Manta here on Minos. He's going for a Defu. Very interesting. In the past, I think Blink was definitely the item he would pick up, but having that that mana reduction really racks with the Void if he doesn't have BKB, and I mean that's just really no barracks. I mean this is pretty much GG. I don't have an analysis for this. This is just a stomp. 20 minutes in, you're getting thrown with no Aegis. That pretty much ever happens.
Yeah, they got completely demolished in the laning stage. Arrow on a Baron, doesn't really care, waits a couple of seconds longer. Slatum trying to be a nuisance, but they even have some nice shielding coming in with the Puffies. MNZ going in on Slatum, the Chrono onto the backline. But Pakaz can he even get the kill onto Michel? Nope, he cannot. And now he is stuck in a very tough spot, needs to leap out of there. Good arrow onto MNZ, Rolling Thunder. Actually gets glimpsed back. Pakaz has another leap in a second. Gets the leap out of there. Illich might not be so lucky. Panda is dead. Illich is dead. Pakaz is dead. Knight is dead. Everybody's dead. That should be GG. And 20 minutes. Starbacks annihilates Boom Esports in one of the most one-sided affairs I've seen in a while.
I mean, I can't believe it, right? We talked about Boom being the slight favorites, and we end with 2-0 that didn't last an hour, I think. Like, I'm not sure both games together last an hour, and Starbacks, they are the ones that will try and take the torch away from Heroic. They are looking sharp, right? That's a Boom that 2-1 Heroic. I guess lost 1-2 to Heroic. They look promising. I do feel like their drafts are pretty good, but they're playing against a monster, a mammoth of South America right now.
Yeah, they got the lower bracket run going. Upper bracket is for suckers, as we all know. So they quickly drop in the first round to that lower bracket where, I mean, they got 2-0 by Beast Ghost, and then all of a sudden something switches in their mind and they're like, no, we got this. This run is ours, and it looks to be that way. Heroic versus Starbacks is going to be an absolute beaut for everyone to witness, so don't forget to check that one out. It will be handled by Arcryptic and Zequinox. My name was DK Truman, and I was joined by the lovely Bowie. Any last words for the viewers at home?
Guys, make sure you subscribe, tune in, because these finals are going to be spicy. But yeah, for now, unfortunately, me and DK, we will have to say goodbye. But it was a pleasure, man. I'm very glad we got to cast together again.
Yep, SA always brings in the heat and always brings in the surprises, as we have seen in this series and the qualifiers so far. My name was, again, as mentioned, DK Truman, joined by the wonderful Bowie. And in case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.